Hi, I'm Joey, comedian, podcaster. Come on in. I have my collection of books and literature here. A few of my favorites. You have Cormac McCarthy, The Road. Blood Meridian is better. I don't have a copy of that right now, but this is a very depressing one. If you feel like you might be heading into any sort of depressive episode, don't read it. Actually, one of my favorite books is Hunter S. Thompson, The Great Shark Hunt. It's a collection of his journalism, and I have multiple bookmarks in here. I recommend Hunter S. Thompson 100%. A surprise. I don't know if you guys wanted to see my cock or not, but there you go. This is actually one of the reasons that I ended up renting this house is the bathroom here. I love it. I love it. I love it. I know it screams, I don't have any manliness that I love this, but it screams nuclear family, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. The whole pink, the tile, everything. Huge fan. Huge fan. I am a minimalist, and I believe in, I guess they call it nowadays upcycling, or whatever fancy word you want to put on it. I'm a trash digger. That's what I do. This trunk here, this ottoman, this from the salon across the street they were throwing away, that bookshelf, this couch, that thing right there, all of them on the side of the road. They've already got character. It's got a little wornness in there, you know, right there. And a huge fan of that. They're lived in, you know. This is my workstation for people that come to surf my couch. And when they come to surf my couch, it's literally strangers that I invite into my house that I've never met before. I've hosted probably about, I would say somewhere around 78 people over the years, since 2006, from everywhere, from Japan, from Germany, from South Africa, Mexico, South America, and that's been an amazing experience for me, especially considering that I couldn't get a passport for the longest time to travel anywhere because I wasn't paying taxes and I didn't have an ID because I said, fuck you government. So, all right, welcome to the Midtown Kava Lounge. This is where I usually get all my ideas down, my editing, my writing, everything else, over at these tables over here. The art here is always very interesting to me. From the Kodiak guy, I don't know who this guy is or whatever. I think he was friends with Trump. I don't know. And then I think that guy got shot, but I don't know. He got shot big time. But anyway, yeah, B.I.G. Yeah, this place is very much for the misfit, you know. Like there's always kind of weird things going on, like people doing puzzles over here if they get socially anxious or whatever. Lots of drinks, a lot of kava, a lot of kratom. No alcohol, none of that stuff. But they do the Delta 8, which is nice because it's not quite weed. It's weed, but it's not quite weed. Whereas in you can take it and you can still get work done, but you feel great. So that's a plus. Started the bar 3 years ago.
Yeah, about 3 years ago. A couple of buddies told me about Kava and Kratom, you know, and after my deployment, I was on a bunch of stuff, a bunch of medications to sleep, function, you know, just do everyday stuff, and I wanted more of a natural route.
I had a friend of mine was like, hey, I've been trying this new thing called Kava. And the funny thing is, like, that day he had drank way too much, and he ended up puking his guts out. And I was like, I don't want to do that, you know? And then I finally tried it, and I was like, oh, it's good if you just don't drink way too much of it. Oh, okay. But yeah, it definitely helped me out anxiety-wise. And again, with your, PTSD, also the same from being an EMT. Yes, and it definitely helped with that. Yeah. With podcast Discoursers, I'm usually editing episodes or something like that. Trying to cut out illegal things that people have put in there. Usually, that's usually what the editing process is. It's like, oh, I remember this one time I was running a kilo of coke, and I was like, oh, I might cut that one out. I've been a writer for the longest time, but I was one of those writers where I was like, my words are too precious to share with other people because they'll never understand. And then finally somebody was like, hey, you want to get paid to do it? And I was like, fuck yeah. Let's go. Yeah, they could have offered me like 2 coupons, like $10 coupons to Subway. And I would have been like, yeah, all right, cool. Well, let me get my computer. Yeah. I started doing the comedy show out here on the patio. It was near the end of COVID, but it was before vaccines. But it's outside and tables are spaced out. And my main thing was I wanted to get comedians out doing mics again because we're attention hungry people, And if we don't feed our egos, they start to devour ourselves. You know, like, so we need to have a microphone and people staring at us going, you know. So I did that for them and to keep, you know, practice and everything. And now the crowd's starting to get back up, which is nice. Yeah, last night was a great show. So.
I like your style of comedy. I think it's funny, and a lot of stuff you run through me first, which I did get in like the little previews.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get the shitty preview though. That's
But
before the punchline.
Yeah. But I still like how you're working it out, and I get to see your thought process and everything. And then when you're up there actually performing your set, and I know I haven't been to the last few, but
Fine.
when
Don't support me. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna weep on the inside.
But when I see you up there, and I see like what effort, like the effort you put into it, it just blows my mind. It's so multifaceted what you go through to get to that. First, I think it's funny, obviously, duh. And then second, I think it's genius, just how you get to that. You know, I don't think that's something I could do.
Well, you have to spend your first 2 years bombing, like
Okay.
over and over and over again. So you have to have constitution, number one, because you're just going to be terrible in front of people that you know, in front of hot women that you may want to have sex with. You're just going to have to be terrible, and everyone. And the thing is, like, the audiences actually want you to succeed. They don't want you to bomb.
Yeah.
So they're pulling for you. But at the same time, they're not going to laugh if it's not funny.
Yeah.
So it's a weird experience. I really wanted to hang out with comedians.
Okay.
Because I thought they were the coolest people ever.
Yeah.
I thought that they were, you know, I was like, wow, these people live rock and roll lifestyles, you know? Like, oh, look at all these comedians that died of drugs. And then I realized, wow, this is actual work. Holy shit, I don't want to do this. And then so I thought about quitting. And then I was like, no, just put in the work. And I did. And that's where we're at. This is the studio right here. We actually just got finished recording an episode of my podcast, Discoursers, actually with Hailey and Kristine, which you'll catch on the interwebs and stuff. What I've been thinking about a lot lately is imposter syndrome. Never feeling like you're actually the thing that you're doing.
Yes.
And that's especially relevant with arts, with comedy, with doing a podcast, with doing video, all of these other things. You think, oh, I'm just faking it. I'm just faking it, and these people are going to find out sooner or later that I don't actually know how to do this, you know? And that's mostly because we never accept the fact that, like, yeah, we've been putting work into this shit. Like when you put fucking 10 hours a day, 8 hours a fucking day work into something and denying yourself the fact that you are this, you're doing it. You might not be great at it, but you're fucking doing it. So you are that.
Yeah.
And that's a big contention actually in the writer community, is that, are you a writer if you haven't put out a novel? Are you a writer if you're not published? Are you a writer? It's like, do you do it 6 hours a day? You know, well, that's a lot for writing. I've tried that before. It does not work out. It's 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day, you're putting it in, you're doing the work, you're paying attention, you're editing. You're a writer. We have lots of random art in here. Great abstract. I have no idea what the fuck this is. This is like having a hangover, is what I call it. And we have more over here. That actually I found in the middle of the road. Those were given to me. And that one, I don't remember where I got it, but the live nudes and the bunny eye, I was like, that's got to go in the podcast studio, 100%. Did you hear that 50% of the makeup in America might contain toxic materials?
No, I haven't.
That means that at least half my girlfriends, now their looks match their personalities.
What is Moby Dick's dad's name? Papa Boner.
So, I've had the sex. Oh yeah, I also played the guitar. And do you know how they're similar? You just keep fingering until you hear the right noises. And then, sometimes it's necessary to play a solo.
Damn. I don't know why that was my... What's the difference between a tire and 365 used condoms? One's a good year. The other's a great year.